Welcome to Let the Quran Speak and peace be with you. My name is Umar Chaudhry and I'm your host for this episode. At Let the Quran Speak, we try to clear any misconceptions that exist for the religion of Islam. And to help us with this task, we have Brother Shabir Ally from the Islamic Information and Dawah Center International. Welcome to the show, Brother Shabir.
It's my pleasure to be on.
It is customary for us to begin the show with a portion from the Quran. Today, from the fifth chapter of the Quran, we'll be discussing the 6th verse. So, Brother Shabir, that's the 5th chapter, the 6th verse. We covered the 5th one last time. What is this verse talking about?
Well, it's giving the prescriptions about washing prior to prayer. And it says when you get up to pray, you should wash your faces, your arms up to the elbows. You should wipe your head and your feet. And the way in which it is stated may give two different meanings here. One is that you should wash your feet, as you've done with the other limbs. And two is that you can wipe the feet, as you have done with the head. And then further down, it gives a rukhsa, or a permission, to use a substitute for washing in case a person is sick or he's on a journey, or for whatever reason there is no water available.
Now, I've seen Muslims who really take this to heart. I've known people who would go into the washroom and come out 15 minutes later just doing this washing up. Now, how extravagant is this washing up that would take that long?
Well, in fact, it's very simple, but sometimes people try to perform it in a very lengthy manner that would involve all of the things that are known or reported about the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, or even some items that have been devised by Muslim scholars over time. In other words, there are reports about how the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, washed that would go beyond the verse that we're dealing with. Moreover, there may be some interpretations that Muslim scholars have added on, in which case some extra items would have been put in there. But just basically what the Quran says here is that you wash the face, you wash the arms up to the elbows, you wipe the head and the feet. So now, it doesn't say you wash it 3 times, but it is reported that the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, sometimes washed each of the limbs 3 times. So if one is trying to wash 3 times, then this, of course, would not only consume more water, but it will also take more time. So one has to be circumspect about this and look at the whole situation. If one is at home and has a lot of time, one is at the mosque where the washing facilities are conducive to receiving and getting rid of the water, then one would wash more elaborately and more leisurely if more water is available and so on. But in all circumstances, one has to conserve on time and on water, because even if water is available in abundance, even if one is making his wudu or ablution by the seaside, he or she should still be conservative in the use of water, because water is a sacred provision from God, and we should cherish it and use it wisely.
Now, the second provision you said, that in case you don't have water, what is that?
Well, the process is referred to as tayammum. It comes after the word in the Quran which says, if you do not have water, or if you're ill or in a journey and you do not find water, somebody may be ill, which means that water may be available, but it might be harmful to the health to use water, in which case they can just touch a dry substance that will give them the same sense of achieving the purification. In that case, they would just simply touch the dry substance, and then with the hands, then one would wipe over the face and then the hands. Some scholars say all the way up to the elbows. The same sense of purity that is achieved after the washing would be achieved also after the symbolic act of purification, even though, of course, no physical purification here can take place with this touching of the dry substance, but one achieves a spiritual purification.
Now, another question is, now you mentioned sickness and such things, but what about the Canadian winter, for example? It is very cold, especially in the months we're in already. For the last time I prayed Jummah, some of the people had to actually pray outside. Now, for those praying outside, is it feasible to go in, make a wudu, let's say there's no towels, and go out in the cold? Is that something that we could say, because of the cold, these people can do tayammum?
Well, the general principle here that should prevail is that one should not do anything that harms oneself, and the religion does not require that. The verse that we're looking at itself actually says that God does not desire to put you into any hardship, but He just simply wants to make you pure. And He's given you the two different ways of achieving purity here. One is through the actual washing, and two is in circumstances where the actual washing would not be conducive, that you can use this substitute. If the winter is extremely cold and one would be at a risk to one's health if one were to go through this washing with cold water, or in a circumstance where one would be exposed to the cold, then one could have the possibility of resorting to the rukhsa, or the permission which is given here in the verse. But one would have to exercise caution and judgment and do things in a manner here that takes into consideration the whole situation, and also proceed with a certain degree of consciousness of God, not just simply thwarting the regulations and doing whatever one feels like, but being careful to obey God, because even with taking the permission, that would be a way of obeying God, because this is what He has commanded us to do, to preserve our bodies, to take care of our health, and also to worship Him.
Thank you, Brother Shabir.
Welcome.
We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back. Please stay tuned.